Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I have got questions for you. What opens with relative tranquility in New Orleans, and what closes with, Doc G taking his golf clubs and leaving in Atlanta? If you guessed Married to Medicine Friday's episode, hold on, what is this child sniffing? Friday's episode, whatever the title and number is, it's in the title. It's in the title. You're correct. And thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. This is Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. Let us proceed. So we have Doc Heavenly. You know how they have a little montage. Doc Heavenly on the phone with Laura and Jackie. in Doc Jackie in the Satan suite with Dr. Simone and and Toya, and Dr. Contessa on the phone with Nanny Renee, and then we see Mariah and Toya, and I wrote this down, but I don't quite know what it means. Toya don't care about Quad. I don't know what that means, but I do know that Mariah said that she feels, from her perspective, that she and Quad have done the same amount of stuff to each other, and so she really doesn't understand why Quad, can't get over it, won't get over it, and move on, or why Quad is characterizing her, Mariah, is like Satan or the devil or something. So Quad is steaming something with assistance from Doc Heavenly. Doc Heavenly and Mariah. Doc Heavenly says Mariah can't stand on her own, and that she needs someone to validate her. Like last year, according to Doc Heavenly, Mariah had Lisa Nicole, and this year she has Toya. So we see the group together. It's in the morning, and the trip is continuing. They're trying to get back on track with the whole Black Girl Magic theme that Mariah on her little after show said that the producer, she said, producer so-and-so is his thing. So even though when we're watching it, it seems like it's supposed to be Doc Simone's theme, I guess it's something that a producer came up with and told Simone, okay, you organize, I don't know how it works in the world of reality TV. But they getting back on track, they say, with the Black Girl Magic. They refocusing on, on that. So for the most part, the whole group is going to Cafe Du Monde, except for Doc Heavenly and Doc Simone. And Toya is like, Jackie, Doc Jackie, don't hate. It's going to be a fattening day, not a fittening day. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to try to save my commentary for the appropriate moment. So then we see Doc Simone. She's trying to prepare Doc Heavenly for their excursion, and they are going to a voodoo shop, a Santeria shop. What do they call them in New York? They have a name for them. I done lost it. But, they going to a voodoo shop. And Dr. Simone says it's all about the New Orleans culture. And Dr. Heavenly is like, I am not going in. And kind of in her commentary or whatever, she's saying, first, Doc Simone wants us to go on a swamp tour, and now she wants us to do this. And, they kind of go back and forth. Dr. Simone is like, let's do something new. And so, Doc Heavenly says, well, can we pray first? And they pray before they go in. And so that's that. So they do go into the store. And I was kind of surprised. It was, to me, he appeared to be white. I don't know how he identifies himself or what his background is or his family's background. But I'm kind of like, is this the voodoo store they could find to support a white guy? But then I guess also, when we as a people have been so conditioned to look at the white man, or someone who appears to be the white man, as authority, as the giver of all things good, Santa Claus as God, the white man, sitting in the heaven on a throne, or, the blonde haired white man with blue eyes who is Jesus Christ, who is our personal savior, then, on the other hand, I guess I could see how it would make sense to have someone who appears to be a white male as the voodoo in this context, when you're dealing with Black women who are very, very, and maybe the whole demographic of the show, in order to have any any opportunity for this person to be heard, I guess they had to be a white man, because if it had been a black woman, then Dr. Heavenly probably would have cussed her out and spit on her or something. But anyway, they go into the store. And I do love and appreciate that he talks about the link between the Haitian Revolution and the freedom of Haitian people, and the connection with African spirituality, and the fact that, really, you really don't see African people being freed without a connection to our spirituality. Definitely in the case of Haiti, but there's other evidence that in other revolutionary efforts, big and small, that there has been, a deep connection to our spirituality and our liberating spirituality, and that there can definitely be many arguments made that there are some spiritual beliefs that contribute to and support keeping us in mental bondage and spiritual bondage and in literal bondage, financial bondage, health bondage, physical bondage. So anyway, Doc Simone wants to bring, they go in and, it's a tense situation. Dr. Simone is asking the store representative if they can have somebody come back to the suite later to do a ritual. And Dr. Heavenly kind of like gets really upset. To my eyes, it seemed like she freaked out. To me, she genuinely and sincerely looked like she was really in distress. She was in tears, close to tears. A lot of times she was upset. She ended up leaving. She like, why would you bring this there? And I think that we have been conditioned, many of us, or, as a people in general, so effectively to be just so terrified and stressed out by, things African and things potentially empowering, that it was very, it was disturbing for me to watch the amount of distress that she had. So at the cafe, the group is being served and they pray over the food. Bless this food for the nourishment of our bodies. And it was kind of like an interesting contrast to me because, I feel like now I'll eat a donut here or there, I'll eat sweets here and there, but in general, and even when I do, I understand that. And I believe in praying over food, and I believe in praying over life, and I believe in praying over all kinds of things. But I also believe that prayer is an action, and through our actions, we communicate to God what the desires of our hearts are. And so I feel like white flour, white sugar, fried, probably some butter, and then sprinkle with powdered sugar, and then we're praying for the nourishment of our body, is sort of like we have to improve our prayer practice so that as we're praying for the nourishment of our body with our words, that our actions and what we're taking into our bodies reflect a desire to nourish our body. So anyway, I just thought that just looked kind of funny to me. So we're back at the Voodoo shop. Heavenly has stormed out. Simone apologizes. Heavenly is upset, as I said. Dr. Heavenly is in tears, and she's like, I don't agree. I don't want to talk about it. And then she's like, can we go get it? After they kind of come to some resolution where Doc Simone is like, I'm not going to force anything on you. I see you're upset. I wanted to do something to heal the group, not to hurt the group, whatever. And, hey, it's cool, sis. It's okay, sis. It's okay, sis. And Dr. Heavenly is like, I don't want to talk about this bull. Can we go get a drink now? And then it was kind of like, dang, again, it's like, I don't have anything against or for Christianity, but it's like, and I don't know, maybe drinking, I guess it depends on what type of Christianity you practice. But I'm like, you so stressed out you need to go have a drink. Some people think of drinking and getting drunk and all of that cussing and all of that stuff is like the true devil. So it's like you go into Satan's drink to escape your fear of what you think is just so, satanic and awful and destructive. I don't quite know how to put it into words, but it was very it's consistent with what I've seen of the women, but it's just so illustrative of, I think, our confusion and our very lostness as a people. I thought there was a lot in this episode that kind of spoke to that. So then Doc Simone is back with the group. She's telling them about the excursion. She's basically trying to frame it like, oh, Dr. Heavenly wasn't open. But the sense that I got from the group is that they were like kind of upset, and they were like, I agree with Dr. Heavenly on this. Don't be bringing the devil back to us. Dr. Jackie offers to do a forgiveness ceremony, and Dr. Heavenly is like, without the voodoo, yes. And it was kind of like, my mother was like, well, maybe the strategy was, to offer, a voodoo ritual, and then, people would be more receptive to everything after that. Like, when you're negotiating, you're like, okay, I'll sell it to you for $1 million. And the people are like, $1 million. And you're like, okay, $200. But that's what you wanted anyway. So maybe she was like trying to terrify them, like scared straight. Like, if y'all don't act right, we gonna bring a voodoo spiritualist in here. I don't know. But anyway, the group is open to, healing now, as long as it don't have nothing to do with African spirituality. And they all, sitting there with their weaves and straight hair and wigs and black skin. But, our identity, we just cut off. It just looks crazy to my eyes. I know everybody has a different interpretation, but it's just really, it was just really interesting to see. So we're out with the group. They're drinking. Dr. Simone is telling Mariah that is a good studio type dancer. Oh, Dr. Simone is telling the group that, she came into the studio and saw Mariah dancing, and Mariah was whipping her blonde, long, straight, woven hair back and forth, and that she was really getting it. And Toya is like, what? Mariah, she don't have what I got. And, so Mariah and Toya have a dance off. I guess that's supposed to be fun. But I thought it was really interesting. One, I hadn't noticed Toya as being particularly big, but I guess that there's this agenda or this conversation being advanced that Toya is big and that she ain't missing no meals. And, I guess when we saw her with her husband, he looked kind of big as well. And it's also interesting when you're dealing with all of these women who are either in the medical profession or married to medical professionals, and they're so resistant to Dr. Jackie and Fitney. This is going to be a fattening event, not a fitting event. And it's like it's so much hostility toward, so anyway, say they have the dance off. It's supposed to be fun. I guess they make jokes about Toya's body and the size of it, and stuff has dropped, and but Dr. Heavenly says the truth is the truth, and Mariah won. She don't think Beyonce is gonna lose any sleep over either one of these biatches though. So that's the comic relief. And then someone in the group is steadily trying to get Dr. Jackie. Oh, it's like the group is always trying to bring Dr. Jackie down, getting her to eat shitty. Like, you'll be happier if you eat this shitty food. Okay, so it's what, so I have good strategy, Simone, but we already talked about that, threatened with voodoo, and then these women will do anything. And then they're all united in fear, of all or most things they're all united for the most part in fear of things that are African, wholesome, or healthy. So, Dr. Simone is an outlier in terms of like wanting to explore, at least the way it appeared on the show, perhaps some African spirituality or be open to something, a little bit, wholesome or, holistic, or, that might be more in alignment with us as African people. And Dr. Jackie, of course, is an outlier in terms of, wanting to eat healthy and wholesome and take care of herself. But for the most part, they're united. It's like, if it's African, wholesome, or healthy, no! We see Quad and Heavenly talking about forgiveness, talking about the forgiveness meeting and strategizing, and Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie are talking about forgiveness themselves. Dr. Simone is like, how do you think that's going to go? I really need you, Dr. Jackie, to sell it. I need you to sell it. And then in the group meeting happens in this Michael suite or the Angel suite or whatever. And they've got wine. I'm not a drinker, and I hate to like demonize drinking and drinkers, but sometimes people do act devilish when they get to drinking. But anyway, I do think that a lot of alcohol has a lot of sugar in it, and sugar is like evil. That's how I feel. I feel like sugar is evil. So anyway, I feel I have to research how much is all alcohol basically sugar, but or just some. We know rum is right because it comes off of the sugar production industry, but I don't know about the rest. Um, so Dr. Jackie is like, in her meditation and her reading and, whatever she came up with, came across or whatever, weak people seek revenge and strong people, move on. Dr. Heavenly kicks it off by asking for forgiveness from Mariah for insulting Mariah's mom, and Mariah accepts the apology, but she does say, I can't accept the apology on behalf of my mama, Miss Lucy. You'd have to talk to her about that. And then Jackie, you conquered. And then Mariah's like, well, Jackie, I'm having a hard time forgiving you because you compared me to herpes, and I have really been holding on to that. And then Jackie and Mariah kind of make peace. And then Simone is talking about taking responsibility. And Mariah is like, I thought we were talking about forgiveness. And then Heavenly is like, well, Mariah, folks see you pointing the finger, but not at yourself. What would it take for you to forgive Quad? It's been 4 years. What would it take for you to forgive Quad? It's been 4 years. That's what they're asking. And Quad is like, well, it's cool. We're both cordial. And that's good enough. And Toya is like, I call BS. It's obvious that Quad has anger issues with Mariah. And Jackie is like, well, let it go, ladies. Hold on a second. So Jackie, Mariah, Jackie is like, well, I think she basically moves things along. Like, I think we should let it go, ladies. And she talks about, the serious things that she's had to deal with and how that helps her to have a different perspective on things. And still we see that she's growing in terms of her, forgiveness. I guess she's processing, her newly experienced, cheatation by her husband. But she like, let's move on. Let's, don't miss the Lord. Don't let mess lord over your life. If it ain't really that important, let it go. Don't let it rule your life. Cancer twice, no baby, cheatation. I have to walk the walk with Curtis. So then, Dr. Simone, says that her forgiveness talk got her ready to forgive and move on with her husband Cecil. And then we see Doc Jackie with a client, and we have a montage. We're back in Atlanta. We see Dr. Jackie with a client. We're at Toya's house with her 5-year-old baby boy Avery. We see Quad on the phone with Chip. Something biz related. Then we see Doc Heavenly's house. Alora has a new dog, we see, and she got the dog while Doc Heavenly was away. And Doc Heavenly talks about how Alora is learning man manipulation from, Doc Heavenly, from herself, from her mama. And we hear a snippet of Alora's, I'm Not Perfect, the song that the child is working on. And then we see Dr. Countess at home with Nanny Renee, and her baby girl is on the counter, and I was like, what's going on? But she's washing her hair. And then we get an update on the trip and I'm trying to figure out how long has Miss Murray been Dr. Countess's nanny, because Renee don't know, she don't do hair, and Dr. Countess doesn't know it. So it's like, did they just get together for the show and they don't really know each other, or, Doc Simone runs into Cecil and at the North House. And I thought that I thought that when we saw in the preview that Cecil was like, oh, it was a stripper pole there. Well, that was a waste of a stripper pole. I thought that was going to be like a big blowout, but it's not a blowout at all between them. Doc Simone kind of takes that jazzy little comment that he made, and she keeps it moving. But they're setting up another counseling session. Dr. Simone is being a little much in the scheduling and not seeing the boys. Like, she wants, her husband is like, well, can you set up the scheduling? She's like, you could set up the scheduling. He like, well, I don't know all of the caveats of your schedule. So your schedule is more complicated than mine, so could you set up an appointment? And she's like, I just want you to also be willing to set up an appointment. It seemed like she, sometimes you ain't got to fight over everything. It's some stuff you don't have to fight over. But I do know that sometimes men will try to make, some men will try to make some women into like their secretaries, and so maybe she resisting that. We don't have the context. But I was also surprised, like, she ain't gonna see the boys. She like, oh, the boys are in good hands, and I've been talking to them by text message, and I'll see them, but not tonight. And I was like, oh. But then I'm like, well, I guess her boys are almost grown men. But I'm like, and then I was like, also, like, I guess a half hour over to the other house, and then a half hour back, that's an hour. And if she spent an hour with them, that's 2 hours. And she, it's like, it is, that's an hour, 2 hours. That's, so she just, she. And then we at Mariah's house, and we see Mama Lucy there, and she watched the kid while Mariah was gone, and we find out that Mama Lucy recently had a stroke. Oh, bless her soul. And she's moved in. I like Mama Lucy's glasses. They're very cute. I saw someone at an event yesterday with some tortoise, like not black, but they were like, tortoise shell versions of it. And Mariah's filling her mom in on the trip, and Mariah doesn't know why they are so resistant and mad. And Lucy is like, well, because you're beautiful inside and out, and they're jealous. And then Lucy is like, Quad is intimidated by you. And Mariah is like, well, we both said mean things. And then, the footage seemed, they rolled some footage, but the footage seems to be all of Mariah saying mean things. But maybe I missed Quad's mean stuff. I don't know. And then we see Quad in the kitchen with Doc G, or maybe, whatever, with Doc G, and she's catching up. And Dr. G expresses appreciation for Quad's running that day. She's like, yeah, I'm back from the trip, but I did this for you. I did that for you. And Doc G is like, cool, I appreciate it. And Quad is like, well, I'm glad you're showing appreciation. You okay? And Dr. G is like, I feel like you're throwing me under the bus. And Quad is like, well, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I just need intimacy. I knew when I got married to you that I would be a doc's wife. You have wonderful bedside manner with your clients. I just want some of the intimacy. I want to feel the closeness. And Doc G is like, you comparing me to my clients to you, and, you're my wife and I'm committed to you. So I can't be more committed to my clients than I am to you because I'm married to you. And, what kind of love do you need? I need you to be specific. I need the facts. You're wearing me out. And Quad is like, well, for example, you don't, on your way home, you don't call, and you could call on your way home. And then Dr. G, he's like, she's like, well, you don't call on your way home. Dr. G is like, I call, and you don't answer. Don't say I don't call you, blah, 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 blah. Do you have my number blocked? Have you blocked my number? And he's like on fire. And during the interaction, I realized that I think she does have his number blocked, or has blocked his number in the past. But it was like he cut her off, and he wouldn't make eye contact, and he seemed so upset and so aggressive. And it's like they need a therapist. It seems kind of intense and kind of crazy to me. And then she's like, you did a good job of deflecting on the phone. And he's very combative. And I'm trying to figure out when and where she blocked his number. There's a lot going on that I'm sure that, we don't see with their relationship, of course, because they don't film 365 days a year. They only film a certain number of years. It's not 24 hours, and it's edited. So we don't know what's going on with these people. But she's trying to communicate, and he keeps cutting her off. And then he's like, I want to know specifically. And she's like, well, I wrote a list to you, so I'm going to go get that letter that I wrote, this detail. Don't get a letter. And then she gets up to go get the letter, and he leaves. He's blown up. And to me, I'm watching the thing, and I'm like, this looks like a fake fight. And because it's reality TV, I don't know if it's a fake fight because it's reality TV, but it also seems like the kind of fake fight that some people, particularly men, will have with women. And then they like, what? You put ketchup on the table? Huh? I'm just so upset you put ketchup on the table. I'm leaving. And you be like, wait, what in the... But it's like a fake fight because they had planned to go see their woman tonight. So they gone on to see their woman over some fake bull stuff. It's like the cobbler's children have no food. He's a therapist, but he ain't acting like he got any therapy skills in the context of his home. He's yelling, and I was just kind of like, huh? And he takes his golf clubs and he leaves. So, you know, and in some of the comments of, you know, when I read some of the comments of, you know, y'all can comment down below, but I read other reviewers' comments too. And that's how I get a sense of how other people are processing, other than the reviewers, but them too. But people are like, shoot, if Dr. G, he could come my way and have all the babies, I'd have all the babies for him and give him anything he wants. Quiet is dumb. She has a good man. So I imagine that, you know, they've been on TV for a couple 4 or 5 years. And so, you know, it's probably some people, he's a public figure, he's a doctor. So he probably, some woman or some women or whatever have approached him and been like, baby, maybe some men. I don't know how it works, but I'm just saying, he's probably been approached and been like, you know, you a fool to be with Quiet, be with me. I'll give you anything you want. And he out there probably exploring his options, because that fight was just fake. I felt like he just made up a fake excuse to leave. So that's the end of my review, my recap. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, subscribing. We're still working on 200 subscribers. Yay! Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You're number one. You're the number one you. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous. You. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous. You. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous. You. Be you. Be fabulous.